Welcome to your latest Nottingham Forest news. Coming up on today's video, is there a boost around Morgan Gibbs-White's future? Forest locked in a huge battle over a defender. Nuno sets out his priority list on transfers, and Joe Worrall's expected to be next out the door. All this and plenty more coming up today on your latest Forest news. Let's get into it. Good morning, good evening, or good night. Hope you guys are doing well, and welcome to your latest Nottingham Forest transfer news. As always, please don't forget to hit that like button. And don't forget, 30% of you are not subscribed to the channel. It's completely free to do. Hit that subscribe button, and you can now leave super thanks on this video. So if you're finding these videos beneficial and you'd like to leave us a little thank you or to help support the channel, just click on the $sign and we'll shout out any super chats on the following video. And let's jump into the news because there's plenty to talk about. So there have been reports on Morgan Gibbs-White's future with Nottingham Forest. And this is coming from Inside Football, I believe, a Football Insider, sorry. And they are saying that Morgan Gibbs-White is set to stay at Nottingham Forest. He is happy currently at the City Ground and wants to remain, and the club are desperate to try and hold on to him. And that's the story they're presenting. However, they are not a reliable source in my experience. I haven't heard this from anywhere else. Now, I haven't heard that Morgan Gibbs-White will be leaving, but we do know there are plenty of clubs interested in him. So I'm taking this with not just a pinch of salt, but like a kilo of salt, if this story is true. I want to believe it, and things have quietened down around Morgan Gibbs-White and him leaving. But there are still two main clubs that are very much interested in him, and that's Spurs and Newcastle. We are expecting Newcastle to come back in towards the end of the transfer window to fish around for either Elanga or Morgan Gibbs-White. And this is why I do not give this story much credence at all. Now, I do tend to agree with the sentiment of it that Morgan Gibbs-White is happy at Forest, but I believe in the back of his mind, he's now starting to think about his international career. And can he break in to Southgate's team? Well, it might not be Southgate's team in a week or so, but can he do it from Nottingham Forest? Or will he have to go to a quote-unquote Big Six, where they will put kids in from those teams into the England squad? So I think that's probably weighing on Morgan Gibbs' mind a bit. And I expect him to at least consider that. But I still think him being the star man at Forest is better suited than him going to one of these cartel sixes in the Premier League and then trying to play his way into the team. It just makes sense to me. And plus, I don't really want him to go either. I think another 2 years at Forest, because I'll use my Jenga thing that I used the other day. He is part of that Jenga puzzle and he needs to stay with Murillo and Callum Hudson-Odoi for me. But what do you guys think? Do you believe stuff you see in Football Insider? Do you take it with a pinch of salt like I do? And do you think Morgan Gibbs-White will be still a Forest player come the transfer deadline? Let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so let's move on to our second story, and it's kind of going to amalgamate a couple of stories in one, because Nuno set out his priority list when it comes to who he wants to recruit this summer. Now, with the loss of Niakate, with Joe Worrall potentially going, with Murillo's future still in doubt at Forest, that technically leaves us with three senior, if you like, centre-backs. You got Bolly, you kind of got Murillo, you got Omar Bamadeli, and then it looks like Worrall is on his way as well. So Forest is suddenly finding themselves in a position where centre-backs don't really grow on trees for us. I think back to, halfway through the first season back in the Premier League, and we had 6 or 7. Could have put a team out of centre-backs at that stage. But now Forest have been able to clear a lot of the deadwood and make good profit on the likes of Niakate, etc. And now Nuno's setting this as a priority. He still does want a striker because they do still worry about Taiwo's fitness, and that is going to have to be an option they look at. But right now, Nuno's priority is about the centre-back position. Now, is that more of a hint that Murillo may be leaving this transfer window? I don't know. I'm just speculating that right now. And how is this playing in? Well, Forest are now really trying to get hold of a player called Jake OBrien from Lyon. Yes, Lyon. We salute you, Lyon. The team that saved us from the stupid PSR this season. And this kid is a man mountain. He's 6'6". He only looks short next to Carlos Miguel. But Lyon want a lot of money for him. They want £30 million or thereabouts. And his performances have not been too bad, actually. He's had 27 appearances for Lyon. He's got 4 goals for them as well last season. And he's come from Crystal Palace before as a youngster, so has a little bit of Prem experience. Now, Forest aren't the only ones in the hunt. Would it surprise you if I said West Ham were going in for him as well? And there's one other club, and that's Everton. And Everton seem to be feeling like they're the front runners for OBrien's signature on this one. But they don't want to get close to Lyon's valuation of 30 million. Everton see him more as a 20 million pound signing rather than the 30 million that Lyon wants. And at the age of 23, he still does have a lot to prove, but has performed really well in the French league. So, are Everton really the favourites? Because Forest now have a real locked-in relationship with Lyon, with the Mangala deal, with the Niakate deal. We may actually owe them one, so it wouldn't surprise me to see Forest putting a good little bid together to get him on board. And he fits in with that profile that I've been talking about all summer. Young, untested, could bring on good value in a couple of years' time that Forest are looking for. So watch this space as we see this develop. But Everton seem to be making noises that they are very confident they can get him. What do you guys think about OBrien? Would you take him or not? Let us know in the comments down below. And as we said, with the not crisis, that's too strong a word, but with the lack of centre-backs currently at Forest, and Joe Worrall next believed to be out of the door from the City ground, this is going to reduce the numbers. However, Forest are struggling to sell him right now. We've put a 4 to 5 million asking price on Joe Worrall, and the biggest frontrunners were Sheffield in this. However, with their takeover, with their inability to pay people, with their thieving morals and all of that, things have slowed down on this. And Worrall, and Forest should I say, may have to look at reducing the asking price for Joe Worrall if they're looking to get him off the books. Now, some would say, okay, if we're going to reduce it, we may as well keep him, seeing that we're short on numbers at centre-back. I'm not fully against this argument until you know that Joe Worrall is on about 30k a week. And one of the things that Forest have looked to do over the last month or so is really clear out wages off the books and reduce the squad size. If you remember back to when Nuno first joined Forest, we told you he likes to work with a team of about 18 to 22 players. He likes a small squad. So just having these guys in the peripheral of the team or the squad isn't what Nuno wants to do. So I would expect if we can't get a deal done with Sheffield, then Forest may have to lower their price slightly, or maybe put it as 2 million plus 3 mil in add-ons based on performance related criteria, or if he goes to the Championship, promotion based criteria, or things like that. But the strong indications coming out is that Joe Worrall will be next to leave Nottingham Forest in this transfer window. Would you keep Joe Worrall? Do you think he's worth the 5 million that Forest have put on his price tag? Or do you think the right play here is reduce it down a bit and then get someone else off the wages? Let us know down below. So it's Monday today, which means we believe today is going to be Miguel Day. Miguel Monday, as Carlos Miguel is very close to being officially announced at Nottingham Forest. Now, nothing's been officially said yet, but it's pretty much done. We'll have a video later on this afternoon once it's officially announced. If it's officially announced, you can never always rely on what Forest are going to do. But the 6'8" giant should be completed today, but we will confirm that for you sometime this afternoon. And that brings you up to date with all the weekend's happenings across the wonderful world of Nottingham Forest. If you've enjoyed the content, please don't forget to hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed if you're new. And if you want to help us by donating, just hit that $sign under the under the screen there somewhere, and you will get shouted out on the next video. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you hopefully on a Miguel announcement. Come on, you Reds.